What is going on, baseball fans, and welcome back to the show. This is Orioles Today, and as always, I am Sean Ferguson. The O's are coming off a really tough loss last night, but you guys could be winners by getting in on the action with Kalshi, today's sponsor, where you can trade on real-world outcomes, including like on your Baltimore Orioles when they play tonight. Just use code FANARCHBASEBALL and get $10 when you trade $10. Big thanks, as always, to Kalshi for sponsoring the show. And we do have a packed episode for you guys, breaking down the latest news, diving into those numbers, and hitting all the biggest storylines surrounding your Orioles. So if you guys do enjoy today's episode, do me a favor and high five that like button. And if you live and breathe the Orioles baseball, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a daily update. And we are going to start off today's episode taking a quick look back at this really good series that the Orioles had to finish off this 10-game road trip, and a great inning compared to how it started. The O's came into this final 4-game series at Tampa Bay, 2-4 overall through the first 6 games of this 10-game road trip, and I mean, just so close to earning a 4-game sweep in Tampa Bay. The Orioles do lose the 4th and final game of this 4-game series at Tampa Bay last night. 7-6 the final score, but the Orioles do take 3 out of 4 in Tampa Bay and finish this 10-game road trip even 500, 5-5, which is very impressive, again, considering the teams they had to play and how they started. But the O's come out of this 10-game road trip kind of the way they went in, 3 games below 500 now at 61-64 overall, 29-34 on the road. And the Rays come out at 75-49 overall at 42-21 at home now. Again, the Rays came into this series on a 9-game winning streak. First in the AL East, one of the best records overall in the league, the best home record in the league. And again, the O's came in limping 5 games below 500, but still maintaining in the American League wildcard playoff race. And the Orioles looked really good throughout this series, with the fact of who they were playing and the fact that they were also on the road finishing up a 10-game road trip. Very happy with the way that the Orioles looked in this series. And they nearly gave it away in Game 1, nearly gave it away in Game 2, a dominant win in Game 3, and nearly pulled off a win in Game 4 last night. And the Orioles still, again, very impressive. 26 runs scored over the 4 games of this series, 6-4, 10, and 6 more. And I'll take that. This, especially coming off of last night's game, 6 runs off of 14 hits. They did, again, could have won this game. Wasted opportunities late in the game. They had men on the corners with 1 out and were unable to produce a run that would have tied the game. And those moments are frustrating, but the bats came alive in this series, and the bullpen, in the end, was unable to help the Orioles out, and it's been the other way around. It's been the pitching, the starting pitching, the bullpen has been so good, and the bats have just been unable to help this team out at all, but you kind of saw the reversal, at least in this game. And in this series, the bats were fantastic and nearly pulled off the sweep. They do get the series victory, again, winning 3 out of 4. Brandon Young, he got the start on the mound for the Orioles last night. Did not look like his normal sharp self. 4 earned, given up off of 8 hits and just 4 innings of work. Cam Sanders worked a really nice 2 innings, but then Yenier Cano, he has not looked sharp lately. He gets roughed up in this one as his ERA shoots up to a 3.27 on the year. He gave up 3 earned off 3 hits and not a single out recorded. And again, the Orioles had opportunities late in this game, but just unable to capitalize. Pete Alonso, though, he looked great all series. We talked about him on yesterday's episode, so we won't dive into it too much here, but he clobbers his 28th home run of the season. He also got RBI number 81 with that. And Mayo homered, and Encarnacion Strand, who we will talk about in a minute, he homered. And again, the bats were alive in this series, and it was great to see. And it just gives us a little more hope or continues to give us that hope, because we're this far into the regular season, 125 games in to this 162-game regular season. Still a lot of games to play, but the O's despite who they gave up at the trade deadline, despite how they've looked throughout parts of the season, yes, they are still 3 games below 500, and yes, they still have a very tough schedule that continues tonight with a series against the New York Yankees. The Orioles are still tied for that third and final wild card playoff spot. Yes, they're still there despite the loss last night, tied with the Texas Rangers and Detroit Tigers. All 3 teams are 61-64. The Twins and Blue Jays are both just a half a game out. The Guardians are just 1 game out, and the Mariners are only 2 games out. So it is still so crowded, but the Orioles are still there. So as an Orioles fan and just seeing how this season has gone so far, I'm very, very happy with how that series yesterday. Very happy with this weekend series. Of course, I wish it ended with a victory. That would have been great to see. They had their moments. It was a really good back-and-forth game. Again, the Orioles had opportunities late in that game, especially in the 8th inning with men on the corners and just went out. And Jackson Holiday came up to bat with 2 outs, and I thought, here we go. He's been pretty good. He's been good for the last couple of weeks, and I thought that was a great moment for him because he had a couple big moments in Game 3 Sunday afternoon. And I thought he was going to come through. He was unable to, and the Rays are able to hold on as Brian Baker closed us out in the 9th inning. So, again, just capping that off. Solid series for the Orioles. What a way to finish off that 10-game road trip. They actually finished it off even 500, 5-5, getting ready to come back home to Camden Yards where the schedule does not get any easier. Starting off taking on the New York Yankees tonight, and the Rays are right around the corner again. So, the Orioles had won 6 in a row against the Rays until last night, so that should be a good series when they come back to town. And I do want to talk about Christian Encarnacion Strand. What a I would say just a great fill-in he's been for Blaze Alexander. What Blaze was having his best season as a pro. He's always been good, or has been so far since he's been in the big leagues. Great defensively. His bat hadn't gotten there yet. Slow start this year offensively, but man, he was cruising. The most consistent bat the Orioles had, and hitting over 300, looking so good every single game, and then he gets hurt. He's out. I thought Jeremiah Jackson was going to be the guy that replaces him. It wasn't. The Orioles, they were looking elsewhere, and Christian Encarnacion Strand, he was designated for assignment by the Cincinnati Reds back on the 8th of April, but the Orioles made a trade with the Reds just 4 days later on April 12th for cash. The Orioles sent him to AAA Norfolk, where he stayed from April 13th all the way to July 16th, back when Blaze got hurt, called him up, and he has not looked back. And, I mean, what a great what a great replacement, I guess you could say it that way. It stunk so bad when Blaze got hurt. It was, of course, we were finally hitting that groove. He gets hurt. He's out. Okay, we lose our most consistent offensive player. For an offense that has not been great or consistent this year, he's gone. And they bring in Christian Encarnacion Strand from AAA Norfolk, and he's just been, he's been a treat. He's been amazing since he's been up with the Orioles. He's played his 88 plate appearances so far for the Orioles, and hitting 6 home runs for the O's so far this season to go with 22 RBIs, just the 1 stolen base, but 81 at-bats, 6 home runs, 22 RBIs, and that's off 22 hits with a 272 batting average. He's got a 310 on-base percentage and an 853 OPS, so those are fantastic numbers for a guy that, of course, the Orioles didn't plan to have at all this season. But when you lose the production of Blaze Alexander, it was like, okay, where are you going to go from here? Again, I thought it was going to be Jeremiah Jackson. I thought this was perfect opportunity to slide him in. The Orioles decided to bring up Strand, who they liked in AAA Norfolk. They liked him when they traded for him when, again, he was designated for assignment. But they gave cash to the Reds to bring him over. He was doing well in the minors, and, he has translated so well since coming up, replacing Blaze there in the big league lineup. And, yeah, he crushed another home run last night. It was the 6th home run of the year. And he has so much pop in that bat. He's so fun to watch. And he's had some pretty good moments over at third base. I told you I was watching Sunday's game. Finally, it felt good just to sit down and watch an entire baseball game just getting everything else done, all the chores done, and just focusing on the game and not having to worry about anything else. And he had a couple very nice plays over at third base, a couple tough hops that he took. So his bat's been fantastic, but his defense has been pretty sharp over there in the hot corner as well. So love what I'm seeing out of him, and that's really that next man up mentality. It's like, where are we going to get this production from? I didn't think it was going to be from him, but guess what? It is, and it starts right now with Pete Alonso. He's absolutely the guy that's leading this team offensively, and you're having a few others here or there. Christian Encarnacion Strand is not far off of that nice supporting cast. I would say he's right in there in that supporting cast. Again, Pete Alonso's leading this team. Mayo's bat's coming around. Really want to see Henderson's bat coming around a little bit more. He has some great opportunities Sunday. Good series for him. But Encarnacion Strand, he's been just a jolt in replacing Blaze Alexander, and unexpected, but absolutely take it. And I've very thoroughly enjoyed watching him this season for the Orioles. Just a great surprise. It feels like the Orioles usually have this every year. You have one guy that didn't expect to be great and have a good season. It started this year with Rico Garcia, and he's definitely tailed off, but it was Rico Garcia to start the year. It was like, wow, it feels like they always have this one player. And now you bring up Encarnacion Strand, this young guy. He's only 26 years old, and he's been phenomenal since coming up, being called up from Norfolk, replacing the injured Blaze Alexander. So he's a big part of why the Orioles continue to be exciting and continue to, even though they're 3 games below 500, stay in the fight for that last wild card spot. And before we continue, guys, you know the deal. It's baseball season. You know what that means? Now that it's baseball season, that means you can trade every single game on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. And seriously, guys, you can trade on just about anything on Kalshi. We're talking sports, news, entertainment, weather. If people are talking about it, there's probably a market for it. But most importantly, you can trade on baseball, which is what really matters around here. And right now, the Orioles are trading at about 29% to make the playoffs, meaning a $100 trade pays out about $335 if they make it. The O's are also trading at 50% to beat the Yankees tonight, meaning a $100 trade pays out $200 if they win. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade $10. That is KALSHI, Kalshi. Trade on anything. And yes, we are talking about playoffs. The O's are still there. And I said on yesterday's episode, take a picture of it, stare at it as long as you can. The O's holding on to that third and final American League wildcard playoff spot. How cool it'd be if 4 teams out of the 5 of the American League made it to the postseason. The Rays leading the AL East, and the Yankees have that number 1 wildcard spot. The Red Sox have number 2, and the O's clinging on for dear life to that third. They no longer have it outright. Again, like I said, the O's sharing that with the Rangers and the Tigers. What a fight it is right now for that third and final spot. Again, it's the O's, Rangers, and Tigers at 61-64. Then you have the Twins and Blue Jays just a half a game back at 61-65. Guardians are 1 game back at 60-65. And the Mariners 2 games back at 59-66. And, yeah, it's not going to be easy. Like I said, too, the O's still 3 games below 500, but they're still in the thick of this fight. 125 games into this regular season. It is slowly but surely coming to an end. But they're still in it, despite all the moves they made at the trade deadline. I know I've said it a few times. I didn't believe they were going to make the postseason. But seeing this change, I would say more of a change offensively. You know, this 4-game series against Tampa Bay really helped you see, okay, this team absolutely has the talent. They have the potential, and they have everything they need, all of the tools to do this every single game. And this series was amazing because they gave their pitchers run support every single game. And you're on the road against the best team at home in all of baseball, and you were doing that to them. So you going back to a series before you played them, that's 6 straight wins against one of the best teams in all of baseball. So especially with how not so great that road trip was going, it's a big eye-opener series for the Orioles. And I really believe it's something they can continue to build on no matter who they play next, which is the Yankees, and the Rays are coming to town. It's a very tough schedule to end the year for the Orioles, but they have everything they need despite the trades to make the postseason this year. I know what I said again. I just still didn't believe that the O's could make it or that they would make it, but they definitely can. And, man, how amazing would that be with everything they got through the trades at the deadline, building on for the next couple of years, and despite of with who they traded at the deadline, will still be able to make the postseason this year. That would be absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, I don't think they will make it, but they absolutely can. And the series that they just came off of and the guys that continue to step up, I think they absolutely have a realistic shot. And just a few comments here to end today's episode. Going to start off here with Lax GK. It doesn't matter how you start the season. If we can get hot at the end, maybe we can pull off some magic. Like I said, absolutely. Just because I said I didn't think they would make it doesn't mean they can't. And, man, what a good 4-game series to end that road trip. And Pete Alonso is playing lights out. Encarnacion Strand, he is playing lights out. And the starting pitching for the most part has been really, really solid. And you're going to have games here or there like you just had with Brandon Young. He wasn't his sharp self, but Trevor Rogers is looking good. Kyle Bradish is looking good. Shane Baz is looking good. Again, Brandon Young is looking good for the most part. So if you can finally start to get that consistency there with the pitching, the defense, and the hitting all together, man, they absolutely have a shot. And this will be the last one. We're going to go to Dark Wolf 2K. Gunnar finally out of his head, and it shows. Feel bad for the Rob doubles. But those Rays defenders make great plays. The thing about this, the thing about that, Gunnar didn't toss that helmet. He didn't look angry or lip off, of course. This lineup is starting to hit. Gunnar and Holiday breaking out. Alonso being Alonso. Mayo and O'Neill being solid to hot since June, it seems. Cowser is doing well, and CES is another gem pickup at the deadline. We keep this up. With the way starting pitching has been, we could make a nice run. Speaking of Blaze, when he comes back, does he go to the outfield? Infield seems set with Alonso, Holiday, Henderson, CES, Mayo. I feel people are sleeping on O'Neill. Last 10 games, his line has batted .250 with 8 hits, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 5 runs scored. And if you go back 30 games, it's batted .250 with 8 hits, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 5 runs scored. Kobe Mayo, last 30, has batted around .269 to .278, collecting 21 to 22 hits, 5 home runs, and roughly 14 to 15 RBIs. As far as the pen, remember we should have Bautista back bare minimum next year. Helsley, I am sure his contract. But Cano, 7 Helsley, 8, Bautista 9. Sounds good to me. So a lot to break down there with Dark Wolf. We'll start off, talking about Gunnar. Good series. Definitely had opportunities where he was robbed. I believe it was a back-to-back at-bats. One was a diving catch out in center field. The other one in right field that ended up being a double play was just another remarkable catch. For the Rays are one of the best overall teams in all of baseball, especially defensively. So, tough to see, but good to see him making those hits anyway. And, Pete Alonso, like I said, he's definitely leading this team offensively. Jackson Holiday is playing so well right now. Kobe Mayo's bat, he's killing lefties right now, which is fantastic, and getting opportunities against righties as well. And Tyler O'Neill, I'll agree with you. He's definitely been better, and he is one of our best defenders out there, especially in the outfield. But his bat is coming around, and Cowser's looking like he's getting a little bit more confidence. We already talked about CES, absolute stud that he is. And that's going to be interesting when Blaze Alexander does come back. I really feel like he's going to go back to third base. That's just me, and we'll see if there's going to be DH opportunities for CES. They're going to put him somewhere. They're not going to take him out of the lineup, which I say, but with how hot Jeremiah Jackson was and they took him out of the lineup and now he barely gets any playing time, hopefully they won't do the same thing to CES. They won't do it to 2 players in the same season, but it is going to be very interesting when Blaze does come back. And, the pitching has been absolutely phenomenal for the most part. Again, you're going to have starts here or there like you had with Brandon Young. Wasn't his sharp self last night. But for the most part, this team absolutely has everything you need to make a run in the postseason. And I definitely think that they have everything they need, and they definitely can. And it's going to be interesting next couple of weeks, next month. But guys, that is going to do it for today's episode. If you were a fan of today's episode, do me a favor and high five that like button. And if you're a fan of this content, subscribe and get yourself daily notifications for all of these daily video drops covering all things your Baltimore Orioles. I will see you guys on the very next episode. This is Orioles Today. I am Sean Ferguson, and let's go O's.